Welcome to my booth at the 62nd Annual Philadelphia Antique Show, situated in the courtyard of the Philadelphia Museum of Art, within the arms of the museum, at the top of the gigantic steps that Rocky Balboa so famously climbed in the movie, and this year with a new statue lent by Sylvester Stallone to the museum. Pretty fun stuff. Each year at this show, I do my best, working tirelessly to put together the most dynamic and colorful display of objects that I can possibly gather, with a relevancy to Philadelphia and with great nostalgia for this formidable show. For years and years, this was absolutely hands down my favorite event. When you walked into the armory at the University of Pennsylvania where the show was originally held, it was the most spine-chilling, goosebump-raising, formidable event in the Americana world. Everywhere you turned, there was just one object greater than the next, and it was an unbelievable experience for me, especially as a Pennsylvania dealer. So, with great nostalgia for that event, I worked to try to bring the best group of antique American flags, paint-decorated American furniture and folk art that I can. And I always bring a number of the things that are related to Philadelphia specifically. It was here that the 1876 centennial celebration was held. The nucleus of it was the nation's first World's Fair, held at Fairmount Park. In fact, Fairmount Park was assembled or created for that. 225 buildings were built there. The largest was the largest building in the world, and all of these places were elaborately decorated. Across the top of my booth here, you will see three great centennial flags. To the left, one of the best 38-star flags that I've ever seen. This is a medallion configuration, but instead of having a single star in the center, it has a ring of stars. And instead of having a star in each corner, which most of them do, this one has 3 stars in each corner, followed by a big one outside it. There are different sizes of stars. This is a 10 out of 10. In the middle, you'll see a Grand Union or Continental colors. That was our nation's flag. Most people don't know this. Before the Stars and Stripes, displayed for about the first 2 years of the Revolutionary War, 1775 and 76, until the Stars and Stripes was adopted in 1777. There are no period 18th century examples of this, and it was a design that really wasn't reproduced. So there's just a handful of these that exist. This one dates to the centennial itself, was found in Greater Philadelphia, and was probably at the expo. To the right is a 38-star flag with a medallion pattern, but here, look at how gigantic the center star is. These are 12-foot walls. That's an enormous star. In the center of the booth, beneath the eagle and above the settee, is the earliest textile that I brought. This is something I've never owned before. I've known of, but never had my hands on. This is a roller-printed yard goods textile produced in England for the American market, featuring William Penn and his treaty with the Indians. It dates to right around 1800 and is just a tremendously rare thing. I also brought this wonderful chest, which I've owned for many years and only exhibited a couple of times. I bought this from Grace and Elliott Snyder, longtime Philadelphia Antique Show dealers, and it was picked right out of a house in Middleburg, New York by Smitty Axtell, no longer with us. And early, that is the earliest thing in the booth. It is circa 1740 to 1760, so it predates the Revolutionary War. And look at the two faces, one in the top center and one on the drawer. Extraordinarily unusual thing in the world of antiques, and a wonderful early American object. But my hands down favorite thing that I brought right front and center in the booth is this incredible trio of paint decorated American long drums. This is a type of bass drum, an English style bass drum. All three of these American examples, all with eagles, dating between the Mexican War and the Civil War. The two to the right I bought 15 to 20 years ago, within a week of one another, from two completely different sources, and sold them almost instantly to a good client who unfortunately passed. Recently I was able to reacquire them, and within a week and a half bought the other one, which is the only other long drum I've ever seen with this quality of paint decoration, and remarkable that I could actually have all three of them at the same time. At the top of the center pillar, above the painting of Lady Columbia giving sustenance to the American eagle, is a carving of an eagle that reminds me of the angels on the back of early tombstones. This belonged to a young dealer from Maine who passed recently and way too early. It was one of his favorite things, and I'm privileged to have it here and raise it up in respect to the loss of one of our own. In the back of the booth, above the orange and yellow paint decorated blanket chest from Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, is a large Civil War flag with a circle of stars and the word Union in the center. This is a 25-star flag, and that's an exclusionary star count, removing the southern states. The stripe count also removes the southern states in that it leaves off Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia from the original 13. Those are the 4 states that actually seceded from the Union during the war. Remarkable thing, and beautiful and dynamic. Here in the top center you'll see a 13-star American flag with what's known as the Trumbull pattern, named after the artist John Trumbull. This example has a big center star and has a really unusual feature, which happens to be shared by 2 other rare flags in the booth. This one has a different count on the reverse of 36 stars. This is a Civil War period flag, and below it in the center you'll see this beautiful centennial banner of a type I've not seen before that has an eagle in its imagery. At the far end of the booth you'll see a 13-star flag that's a U.S. Navy small boat ensign, and another centennial banner, a really rare one up top, with what I call an egg in the center. I would never think of this as an egg if I didn't actually own a paint decorated centennial egg from the Centennial Expo, and I think that's what they're trying to show here as the birth of the nation. And up in the right hand corner, this textile with repeating images of Washington and foliage is a super early one, a yard goods produced to make curtains to make bed coverings, etc., dating to right around 1830, plus or minus a couple of years. Here at the top left is a Betsy Ross pattern flag with 45 stars on the reverse, made by a woman in New Jersey who I found in the census records, identified as a flag maker at the address that's stenciled at the top of the hoist. Remarkable, remarkable flag. You really don't see the Betsy Ross pattern in 19th century examples. This is 19th or just beginning of the 20th century, sometime between 1896 and 1907. Perched above this early Connecticut River Valley blanket chest is an actual pilot house eagle. That is, there are many things called that, but rarely do you see a carved eagle that actually was one. This is a tremendous early example dating somewhere between the 1830s and the 1860s, as early as you'll see an actual American pilot house eagle, and above it another disunion flag removing the southern states. This started life with 24 stars, and to it, on this side only, 10 more were added to increase the count to the proper 34 stars representing all of the states in the Union. Lincoln pushed to keep all the stars on the flag, as his goal was to keep the Union together. But remarkable to have two different star counts. It was a carried flag. It's beautiful. 6-pointed stars, which are also gorgeous in great color, endearing wear, lots of repairs. And to the right, you'll see a beautiful poster made in World War I with art designed by none other than Howard Chandler Christie. That concludes my tour of our booth at the Philadelphia show, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you again soon at another event, and be sure to visit our website at www.jeffbridgman.com. Many of these objects have never been displayed before and are not even on the website yet, so this is a great opportunity to preview a bit of what's coming. Thanks for your time and enjoy.